Testing, 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 testing. How come I don't hear anything? Okay, okay.
Yeah, just woke up. I ain't feeling your side.
All right. Random rants. Mass hypnosis. That's the subject. Let me see. We're trying a new format here. We're going to get this going. It's a test run here. Anyways, I've been feeling frustrated. Extremely, extremely frustrated. You know, I, I've been unplugging. And I'm not coming back to do the full show for a little while still. I think I still need some more time. I just feel like I want to get some stuff off my chest. It's kind of been building up. Like I say, I haven't been watching much, reading many articles or watching much YouTube videos. I've been scrolling a little bit on Instagram here and there, and then I have the group chat with the guys, and they send me stuff, and I look at that stuff, some of it, anyways. But I've been trying to unplug, for my own sanity. The thing is, I feel like there was a time in my past where I went insane or whatever. And I don't know that I've ever really come back, you know. It's like what I'm trying to do here is insane. Like it's like mission impossible. I feel like people have been mentally screwed, you know. They've been mentally screwed. So it's like, people go at different ways to try to fix things, fix the world or whatever, like voting, like activism, you know, different kinds of ways, right? Well, but this is my calling. I feel compelled to do this. I feel like the way to get things to improve is gonna have to be through the mind. It's gonna have to be through the mental. And so when it comes to the programming, when it comes to the brainwashing that has happened, um, a lot of it happened in a violent way, you know, and it hurt, you know. So to undo this programming, to improve the mind, it's also gonna take a bit of violence here and there, and it's also gonna hurt. It's gonna take some time. I've been holding my tongue a lot on this show, trying to keep from being offensive, and I just don't think that I've been going at things the right way. It's not working. So I've been spending a lot of time on figuring out how to make this better. And so then I came to the conclusion that I can't hold back. I really have to come with the rawness, so that people can feel it. So back to the mass hypnosis. This is what I think is happening, okay? And it's on a major level, a huge scale. It's like in the news, they're talking about for the longest they were talking about the Chinese balloon, spy balloon, doing surveillance, and just like on its face, the first thing I think is like, if they wanted to do some kind of surveillance, it seemed like they would do it in a more discreet way, you know the other thing, there's many other things going on, but it's like, you got the earth, the train derailment thing that happened, and it's causing mass pollution, and people are talking about that, and then it's like they're talking about how the journalists are being arrested and this and that, and you know and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's all true, and it's really messed up. um but not that long ago we had a thing going where they were trying to strike, and it came to the point where Biden pretty much brought the strike to an end. you know so it's like, what about the infrastructure that we have, that has been deteriorating over time, and how we have monopolies related to these rail companies, you know, how they're making record profits, how they're making the people work without time, sick leave, whatever, overworking these folks. You think any of that could have had anything to do with the derailment that happened? These accidents that happen. These kinds of things are going to continue to happen. You know, and we got the stuff about the UFOs. You know, the aliens and shooting down random objects and stuff like that. People are talking about that, and oh man, I mean, it takes my breath away. I feel like it's the fairy tales, right? When you're a kid, they start off telling you fairy tales about gnomes and fairies and Santa Claus and so forth and so on. And then when you get older, and they teach you about Jesus. They get you into the religions, Muhammad, you know, and again, I don't want to offend people, but I just want people to start to think. I really just think that we've turned our brain off. They're we've been hypnotized, and we're completely under their spell, if you will. And it's 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 really insane. It's like whatever happens, you're going to have a group of people that's going to say it's a conspiracy theory. And it's like, sometimes it's not a conspiracy theory. Like, sometimes the guy, XX Temptation, maybe he just got robbed, and the guy shot him and he died. Like, it's simple as that. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It's not nothing else to it, you know. The 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 the, the stuff on Biden's laptop, or the stuff that Trump took home, top secret, whatever's like. What I'm trying to say is, we don't know what's real anymore. We don't know what's true anymore. Was COVID a hoax? Like, was it not people dying from this thing? And then, they talk about the vaccines. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But, the reality of things that are happening is really true. And you have people who see a 30-second TikTok and they want to argue with somebody who has studied this thing for years and years and years. And they don't know what they're talking about, but they're so sure. It's crazy to me that a person that has been studying a certain subject for 20, 30 years or whatever has doubt and is not sure about a certain subject. And then you've got a person who has watched a TikTok and they are completely convinced, they're completely sure, they just know that they're right. What I'm saying is this: we've entered a fairy tale world. We've entered into this mass insanity where you have one group of elites calling the other group elites, or you have the actual elites calling people who went to school for a long time elite. Like, we have this conflation of what is socialism or what is capitalism, or what is communism. you know I was watching a video where it was Immortal Technique, and he was talking to Anna, and they were talking about how um, the Immortal Technique said the Aboriginal peoples didn't need someone to come. They didn't need Marx to explain to them about sharing. That was the comment he made. And it's like Marxism, communism, fascism, all of these words that people throw around. And it's like, when you break some of this stuff down, it's just simply hate. It's just simply sharing. It's just simply caring for one another, or it's simply just being selfish and wanting to hoard resources. But we call them all of this other stuff, all of these complicated words that people don't even know the definition of. You know, I really feel like we've entered this realm of just insanity. Like, I was talking to a guy at work, and we was talking about how people trying to understand what consciousness is or what intelligence is, and we compare, like, humans are intelligent, right? Humans are conscious, right? And then we compare, we can't find any other intelligence, we can't find any other consciousness. It's like we are the intelligent beings and there aren't no other ones. you know that that's insane. Okay, that's an insane thought, that humans are the ones that are intelligent and all of the rest of these other creatures, all of these other creations of God are not. That's insane. Okay, so but then that these are the premises that we come with. It's related to, like, the racism or the sexism or the classism, where depending on where someone came out of their mom's womb, or depending on the color of their skin, determines, you know, what they're capable of or not capable of. You know, we have these ideas that certain people are irredeemable, right? And it has no, they have no power over nothing having to do with them, as far as anything in their control, but they are irredeemable, so therefore there's no reason for them to exist, right? This justifies eradicating these people because there's no way to redeem them. Okay, I'm not saying that this is true. I'm saying this is the way people think, and this is what leads to the ideologies. Like, oh, they are extreme right wing, or extremely conservative, or they're a Trump supporter or whatever. So they're irredeemable, and there's nothing you can do with them. Just write them off. Or on the other side, they're too far left. They're Antifa. They only vote Democrat. Their brain is mush. They, they believe in this crazy liberalism, so they're irredeemable. We got people in Congress saying these things, and I think that a lot of the stuff that these people are saying, it's stuff that they don't even really believe. Not really. It's just that we have gotten to the point where we're so easily manipulated, we're so easily controlled, No one has taken the time to actually look anything up. It's like another thing. It's like, okay, well, your video essays aren't worth anything because you don't cite your sources. It's like, okay, well, um, fine. I mean, I get it. I get it, you know. But if I do cite the sources, are you really going to click on that stuff? Are you really going to read that stuff? You know what I'm saying? And then what is approved sources, anyways? It's people that you agree with, it's people that you think tells the truth or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Does it depend on their gender or their skin tone or whatever, or what country they came from or whatever, or what religion they have? Is that what determines an approved source? You know what I'm saying? And how come that whatever is said in these videos or whatever we talk about, how come you can't just type something into your search bar and see what pops up and read it for yourself, or watch the video for yourself and take in some more information about the subject? I feel like a lot of people, they just feel like they know already. It's like, I know already. There's no reason for me to look anything up. And then they're like, I've done my research. Their research is watching a TikTok video or watching some talking head on their favorite network. Like, that is not research, okay? Like, if you objective research means you look up the opposite views of what you believe or whatever, or the way you look, and see what those people have to say. Make a compare and contrast. Find where the middle ground is. Find where the one side and the other side are both saying the same things. There you go. Now you're getting somewhere, because if one side is saying the same thing that the other side is saying, then there's got to be some truth in there. Okay, like, and then you have to also have your own mind and come to your own conclusions, you know. But you haven't developed the skill to do this because you don't use your mind in that way. You just take in whatever someone says and you run with it, and you regurgitate the things that these people say. And you believe it to your core, and you feel like you're right, and you haven't spent 5 seconds on contemplating an idea that you could be wrong. But how did we get here? How did we get to the point where, you know, one example is people saying that United States is a Christian nation, right? What evidence do you have for that? Where did that come from? Like, what history did you study? Did anything related to, like, I mean, it depends on where you want to start in history. That's a problem always. But let's go to, you know, when the colonization started, and then those people were coming over here. They called themselves Puritans or whatever. The whole reason why they were doing it is because they were rebelling against the church, rebelling against the queen, rebelling against the monarchy. They wanted to be able to worship the way they saw fit. That's in your books. That's there. Where did you get this idea of this Christian nation thing? You know, it's insanity, you know? And I just keep on going with this. It's like, uh, evolution is not a real thing, you know? Freaking all the animals came off of a Noah's Ark, you know? I was reading a post on Instagram where they were talking about astrology, and it's like they're talking about, okay, well, all of this stuff is based on the Roman calendar. There's countries around the world that don't follow this same calendar. And then, you know, you can look at me and I can tell you my birth date and the time I was born or whatever, and you can know all of this stuff about me, and you can be 100% sure that that's what it is. Like, no room for error. Like, this is craziness, okay? It's insanity, you know? What if, let me beat up on the Muslims a little bit. You guys know my mom was Christian, my dad was Muslim. That was the household I grew up in. I read the Bible cover to cover. I've read the Quran cover to cover, okay? I grew up extremely religious, okay? But let's say somebody today came and they said these were the word of God, and they recited these words in the perfect order every time. This person can't read or write, so it had to be the word of God. So it's like, oh, this is a new religion. This is the right way or whatever. These are God's words. If somebody came and said that today, you would say that person is crazy. That person is out of their mind. There's no freaking way. You know, these things where we argue about stuff that's unarguable, something that has no evidence, something that you can't support with any information. There's no point in arguing about it. If you say it's God's words, okay, that's fine. You say it's God's words. I can't really argue with you on it because I don't know one way or the other. I can't freaking prove it one way or the other. I believe in God. I do. So maybe it is God's words, but maybe it's not. So, and then you're going to argue about it. It's a complete waste of time. You understand what I'm saying? These same religions, the ones that are dominant in our world, the institutionalized religions, were violently forced upon the people. People didn't convert to Islam willingly. It was by the sword. People didn't convert to Christianity willingly. It was by the sword. It was forced upon them. And now you take this on, and it's you have become childlike. You have become childlike. I was talking to a guy, he's from Iran, and the mess in Iran, however you want to say it. I don't really care about the way you guys want to critique me, because you're gonna say, "Oh, he's missing two front teeth, so I can't listen to what he's saying," or he's a cis male, so I don't even listen to what he's saying, or he mispronounces words every now and then, or says things backwards every now and then, so I don't have to listen to what he said, or he has his skin tone is wrong, so I don't have to listen to what he's saying. Whatever. Okay, I don't care. Okay, I was speaking to this man. He was from Iran. He said, he's denounced Islam. He says Islam, and this dude has grown up as a Muslim, but because of the riots, because of the things that's going on in Iran, people being killed in the name of the religion, he says this religion is about death. It's about killing. I I denounce it. I don't want to be a part of any religion anymore. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And this is a very religious person who really believes, who reads the Quran, who prays 5 times a day. But because of what is going on in Iran, it has brought him to the point where he's like, I denounce it. I don't want to be a part of this. This is craziness. People are dying. People are hurting, all in the name of this religion. Okay? Now, a lot of guys are going to be cheering this on. The Christians going to be cheering this on. Wait, stop. Hold on. What about the Christians? What about the Crusades? What about all of that? What about the people who really are like what they call now Christian nationalists or whatever? They feel that God has given them the right to do this or do that. It's 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 their right to kill someone who's an infidel or whatever, a non-believer. It's because they haven't been uh in the under the blood of Christ. They haven't been baptized. They haven't accepted Jesus Christ in their heart. So and then you have these people who the ones who go out and they try to convert people, and they feel like they're saving them. Like they go to Africa and they're like, oh, they're heathens, they're uncivilized. Let's bring some civilization to them. Let's make them civilized. So let's give them Jesus. So that's going to help them in their life and get them out of the jungle and doing all of these unholy things. You got these people who are all upset about some show that a guy does on a you know some kind of TV show. I didn't even watch it. Sam Smith, and they're like, oh, he did some ritual and worshiping the devil and all of this and all of that, or whatever. You know that all of this is just to get a rise out of you. You watched it. You freaking that's that's the money. That's how they make money is the eyeballs. They got your eyeballs. They got you talking about it. You determining what's holy and what's not. How wh- how do you come to that? How do you come to the conclusion of what's holy and what's not? What's righteous and what's not? You know, it's like we talk about the Holocaust and we say it was so horrible. And then we talk about uh, King Leopold and the DRC, and we say this is horrible. We talk about Japan, atrocities happen there, Rwanda, the Tutsis and the Houthis, and then we want to say this one is worse or that one's worse or whatever. It's all based on your perspective. It's all based on your point of view. It's all based on how you've been taught history, you know, the way you think, you know, your point of view, you know. It's like they they colonized countries all over the world. So, and if you know about what colonizing is, it's a violent thing. It's a thing where you force people to have a certain religion, you force people to live in a certain way, you force people to eat a certain way, you force people to celebrate certain religions or whatever. Okay, you know, what I'm trying to say is that we've been programmed, you know, radicalized. Okay, and we see the world through that lens. Okay, we're in the end game, bruh. The they've got y'all so freaking hypnotized. That's why I call this mass hypnosis, because that's what I see. You guys are arguing about this and that. Meanwhile, the status quo continues. Meanwhile, the banks still keep making money. The corporations still keep doing. Colonization never ended. You still have colonies. You're talking about it like it's in the past. You still have slavery. We're talking about it like it's in the past. Like this stuff ended. Racism ended. Kumbaya. MLK had a dream. His dream came true. We integrated. Kumbaya. It's over. Let's wash our hands of it. It's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just really hope that I can reach one person with each show that I do. One person is my goal. I try to reach one person to get them to use their mind and think a little bit differently about things. Try to get outside of your perspective. Try to look at things through another view. Try to, and you know, if you really hate socialism or communism, you know, how about you go read about it? If you really hate capitalism, how about you go read about that? You know, you really think Antifa is horrible and it's a thing that's terrible. How about you go learn about it? If you think the right, ultra right, extreme right is so terrible, go read about it. Okay? Learn something. Learn something new. If you think that you know already, your growth has ended. And this is where we are. Everybody thinks they know already. You know. You know everything. What's the point in getting up in the morning? What's the point in going through life? What's the point of anything? You already know. Anyways, that's how I feel. I have a comment here. It says, hi, I want to offer promotion of the channel. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to be doing these kind of rants. I really didn't organize this very much. And the whole thing about the sources, I'm thinking about actually, because I've had some academic papers. One of the rants I'm gonna do coming up is gonna be about it's gonna be about code switching, and I really want to talk about that because I got emotional. We talked about it in class, and this guy said he has to code switch for survival because he lived in a border town, and it had brought me to tears. And I have an academic paper, and so I'll read that academic paper, and we'll talk about code switching, and I'll put the sources in the fucking comment in the description for you guys who feel like the only way that something has legitimacy is if it has sources in it. So whatever the hell, I'm trying to improve this. I'm trying to reach more people. It is what it is. Peace and love. Y'all have a good one.